Hi, I'm Max Carritt. I'm happy to be able to share with you a personal project I did using Ignition Maker Edition. So, being stuck inside due to COVID, some friends and I were looking for things to do, and we thought it would be fun to try playing Dungeons and Dragons together using Zoom. I'm sure I don't need to explain what Dungeons and Dragons is to a bunch of IT professionals, but in case you don't know, it's a type of imagination-based game where one player, the DM, the Dungeon Master, tells a story to the other players who assume the identity of imagined characters. The players tell the DM how their characters interact with the story, and the DM reports the results, usually determined by the game rules or information about the characters and dice rolls. Because this is something that we had never done before, we wanted to find some online tools that would help us play together, and we found one tool that managed the characters for us, but we found that very useful, but it was difficult for the DM to keep track of all the information. So I created this app to try and solve some of the pain points of gameplay while also trying to keep things as simple as possible. Let's check it out. So here's the landing page of the project, and when you log in, you'll be able to see the campaigns associated with the user, or you can create a new campaign. I'm going to select demo and load that one. When you first start out, you of course want to add the players that are playing with you, and so this is a third-party website called character.pf2.tools that lets you create a character and manages stats and remembers things for you. And so your character will have a whole bunch of different stats associated with them, and you can click on any one of these numbers to do a dice roll, and that's going to determine whether you succeed or fail at whatever task that it is that you're trying to do in the story. So you can take that URL from any one of these character sheets on that website, place it in here, and here we have two example characters, Poog and Mogmerch. So now that we've added them to our campaign, we can hide the campaign setup, and they're listed here. And all these stats and their HP and that kind of thing, this is all continuing to refresh in the background and update in real time, including their dice rolls. So the dice rolls that we did just now on the other website, I can expand this tab, and I'm going to see that dice roll that I just did here. So I can see all of my players' information of what they're doing on that website here in one place, including like HP. So right now Poog has 16 HP. If he was in combat and took some damage, he now has 11 HP. We come back here and we see that updates. If the DM or one of the characters wanted to do a dice roll or a stat check from this side of things, they can do that as well. So any of these numbers with the plus or minus next to it, they can check that or click that, and it's going to do that roll for them, and it's also going to be recorded in the history alongside all the other dice rolls that were done in that third-party website. The next major feature is that you might want to add enemies to the play cards here to keep track of their health and stats and stuff like that. So you can click on Quick Add if you want to quickly add a creature to an encounter. So I've scraped all the stats and data from another website and imported it into like basically a document tag in Ignition. So we can find something that we want the players to fight, and we have all the stats here that are going to be added. And then this is also a link to take you to the official website if you want to look up a full page of what it says about that creature. But basically all this information I've scraped into Ignition, so it's all in one place. So you can edit their stats if you want, but I'm going to keep the default stats the way they are and add this Clockwork Mage to the encounter. And so I can click on Add, and now he's here along with the other characters. And kind of the cool thing about this is so I can just give this URL to the players. So I've hidden the information about this enemy from the players so that they don't know how much health or what his stats are. They're finding it blindly. If I go back to the DM view, you can do damage or heal, and you'll see that reflected there. You can do dice rolls for the enemy as well. And then the other thing that was taking up a lot of time was sorting for initiative. So what typically happens is when you enter a combat with multiple enemies and players, you have to figure out what the turn order is. And that's like a kind of tedious process of everyone rolling dice, adding their stats, then the DM has to sort all that stuff manually. And so I've added buttons here that'll do that automatically for the DM. So whenever combat starts, he can just click this button and it's going to go through everybody's stats and roll automatically, and then also sort them automatically based on the values that they rolled. And if there was a special case where maybe this character was hidden, you could select him and move him manually up and down through the in the combat. And these play cards, these are all managed actually by the dashboard component. So instead of having a grid of widgets, I've created kind of a column where one widget takes up the entire row. And then I'm just doing a little bit of scripting in the background to manage their placement of where they are on the dashboard component. And then once combat starts, you can click the start button and it's going to highlight the first person to go. And then you can keep track of whose turn it is, which is something that we were having trouble with. We're constantly asking whose turn it is and who goes next. So that's another nice thing to have, is that we can just click on next whenever it's the next person's turn. The other kind of cool thing is for enemies, I've added this button to quickly look up all the information about them. And so this is another website that somebody created with data about the game. And so this is going to automatically search for the name of the creature and pull up their information. And that's this is done in like in a docked window. We're using an iframe. So we can close that. If the enemies or if the players kill the enemy, you can click remove and remove him from combat. And the last thing that I did was I built an encounter builder. So the DM might want to plan ahead of time different encounters that the players might have to fight in a certain scenario. So here's one encounter that I've created. I can go into the bestiary again and find other things that I want to add to the encounter and just add that like that. And this is another docked window that I put that same bestiary in. So I'm going to close that bestiary, and now I have an encounter that I want to be able to load to my campaign, and you can load this basically at any point in time. This is just a saved set of data. And so if the players get to that point in time, I can click load encounter, find it from the list of things that I've saved, and click load encounter. These monsters are here. I can click roll perception and sort, and then it'll do it automatically to sort whose turn it is, and combat can start. So those are the main features of my project. I should hopefully be on the call if you have any questions. I'd love to talk more about the technical side of this, but I don't want to take too much time with the video. And you can always email me at maxcarritt@scadatorch.com. My email should be included with the presentation. Thanks.